Coming up on the Elon Phoenix Weekly.
We take you on the road to Asheville, North Carolina as we followed Elon's path in the Southern Conference basketball tournaments.
Plus, we meet the new coaching staff of Elon's newest sport, women's lacrosse, and look at the prolific basketball careers of Lucas Troutman and Kelsey Evans.
All that and more next on the Elon Phoenix Weekly.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Elon Phoenix Weekly. I'm Kimberly Wisniewski.
And I'm Joe DiRienzo. Thanks for joining us on your ESPN2 local sports break. Elon's men's basketball team had its most successful season since joining the SoCon, as they not only reached the 20-win mark, but won the North Division. But
the team's goals did not end there. They wanted to go down to Asheville, win the Southern Conference tournament, and earn the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament.
College basketball thrives in March. Ask any player, coach, or fan, and they will tell you that this month completely embodies the essence of the sport. Entering the SoCon tournament, Elon's men's team had 20 wins, 10 losses, and the second overall seed in the tournament. After receiving a bye through the first round, they faced rival UNCG in their first game of the tournament, a rematch of their final game of the regular season. The Phoenix came out ready to play, and as the fans filled the stands and the national anthem was sung, you could see nothing but determination on the players' and coaches' faces throughout warm-ups. They wanted this game, and were ready for anything UNCG was about to throw it. With introductions over, it was finally time to get to tip-off, and both teams looked ready. Elon won the tip and quickly scored off a Lucas Troutman hook shot. But UNCG wasn't going quietly. They scored some tough baskets down low and shot the three well to keep the first half relatively even. Going into halftime, Elon was up on the Spartans, 31-29. But the game was far from over. Coming out of the break, Elon took it to their opponent, with their offense clicking on all cylinders. Nearly everyone was getting involved, but juniors Lucas Troutman and Sebastian Koch helped lead the way, scoring a combined 29 points in the game. The Phoenix scored 37 points in the second half alone to take their first game of the 2013 tournament. The students were excited, as were the alumni, and the Phoenix moved on to face the College of Charleston Cougars in the semifinals. It was time for the second game. Emotions were high, but the Phoenix were as focused as ever while preparing for the Cougars. They had lost their one regular season game against Charleston by 2 points and were looking for revenge against this tough third-seeded team. It would take everything they had to best the Cougars, but the players, coaches, and the fans who had made the trip up to Asheville were confident. At tip-off, Elon once again won the opening battle and tried to get the ball to their big man down low. Unfortunately for them, this time Troutman's hook didn't fall. It was a hard game for the Phoenix. Shots that normally are no problem for the 20-win team just wouldn't go down. To make things worse, Charleston seemed to be running their offense with ease, and the Phoenix fell behind early. Hope seemed to be up for the Phoenix, but senior Josh Bonney wasn't going down without a fight. It was his last season as a player, and he fought tooth and nail to get his team up after each punch. Unfortunately, Bonney's efforts were not enough, but he was met with thanks from both the coaches and fans for his fight. Bonney's time may be done, but for the other members of the team, the Phoenix will be reborn next year.
But the Phoenix will have to wait until next year for another chance at the SoCon title. Basketball was not over, as the men's team earned an invitation to the collegeinsider.com postseason tournament.
One of the driving forces throughout the season was junior forward Lucas Troutman, who now finds his name written throughout the record book.
1,000 points is a special plateau for college basketball players, a mark that can define a career. For Lucas Troutman, it is no different, as one free throw cemented his name in the Elon record books forever.
It's kind of one of those things where a cold chill goes down your spine. It's one of those moments that really kind of warm you up and actually, get you excited. And that was especially something, especially during the game. Once I made the free throw, everybody yelling and screaming and chanting my name, that meant a lot to me, and that gave me cold chills down my spine.
Well, 1,000 points is a lot of points, and they will now be in the record books of Elon. There's only a handful of players that have done that in their career here, and it's quite an accomplishment. What's neat for me as a coach, coaching both Jack and Lucas, is that I get the chance to recruit those guys and see them play for their high school teams. And now you see them as juniors, and they're no longer high school players. They're college players, and they're men now. And it's neat for me to see their growth from their high school days up until the point they are right now.
Along with reaching the 1,000 point mark, Troutman broke the Elon career blocks record held by Eric Hairston, a record Troutman truly relishes.
It's kind of cool. I mean, to think back and know that I set that record, and there's been a lot of records in the book that haven't been touched for a while. It gives you a warm feeling inside. It's one of those things that's kind of hard to explain. Definitely something that I'm proud of and that I'm happy that I was able to do.
With fellow classmates Sebastian Koch and Riley Beaumont next in line to reach the 1,000 point mark, this magic number may truly define the current junior class.
More or less establishes us as our class. It lets us know that we came in and made a difference here, and we stood out at this school, and that's a goal, and that's something that we'll take with us after college, and that's something that'll mean more to us in the future than it does now. And I think that's a great goal for us to go forward, and if that's something we're lucky enough to be able to achieve, I think that's something that'll really mean a lot to us in the future.
I do think it's a sign of growth in the program, and it's a sign, what it really is the fact that those guys have worked, and they've worked to improve, they've worked to understand the game better, and they've been successful doing it.
Despite all the individual accolades Troutman and his teammates garnered this season, the only thing that truly matters to Troutman is how successful the team is.
We did a lot of things this year as a team that this school hasn't done in years or haven't done before, and that's something that we were trying to build up in this school. And regardless of how I've done this year, or how an individual player this year is looked at as how the team did, and that's something I'm more happy with than looking at me. I'm not worried about what I do or how I score or how many blocks I have. It's how we are performing as a team, how we're playing together, and how we're controlling the games. And that's something that we have to look forward to as a team and control as a team.
Lucas also set the single-season record for blocks with 63.
And that brings us to today's trivia. Can you name the 3 players who scored 2,000 points in Elon basketball history? The answer to that coming up later.
We have to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we meet the 2 coaches who are building Elon's new women's lacrosse program from the ground up.
And later, we head back to Asheville to see how Elon's women's team played in the SoCon basketball tournament.
As we go to break, take a look at some of upcoming Elon athletic events.
We'll be right back to the Elon Phoenix Weekly on ESPN2.
An Elon education is about preparing students for a life of global citizenship. Of course, this is a place where you're going to come and earn a degree, but it's also a place that's going to get you to think very deeply about how you're going to use that degree to make the world a better place.
There are currently over 350 Elon student athletes competing in 16 NCAA Division I sports.
Scholarships enable us to succeed not only on the field,
but also in the classroom.
It helps us in achieving our commitment.
To live the maroon life.
Your gifts have the power to take Phoenix athletics to even greater heights while giving student athletes an outstanding education.
You're watching the Elon Phoenix Weekly on ESPN2.
The Elon Phoenix Weekly is made possible by the students of the School of Communications in association with the dedicated coaches, athletes, and staff of Elon Athletics.
Coaching a team is a tough enough task, but building a program from scratch takes a great deal of vision, determination, and patience. We'd like to introduce you to two coaches who will be tackling that tough challenge as Elon begins its women's lacrosse program.
Beginning competition in the spring of 2014, the women's lacrosse team, Elon's newest Division I program, got a huge boost when head coach Josh Hexter was hired.
Good, and shoot it early.
A former player at Assumption College and head coach at Bridgewater State College, Hexter has spent the better part of the last decade as an assistant coach with the prestigious Duke women's lacrosse team. But ambition and the chance to build a program from the ground up led him to Elon.
Coming from Duke, I was there for 8 years, loved it, could have stayed there forever, but I wanted to go back to being a head coach. And with Elon opening up so close to home, I could take that next step.
One of Hexter's first orders of business? Find an assistant. And who better to call on than one of Hexter's former players at Duke, 2011 graduate and USA Under-19 world champion, Virginia Crotty.
I was in Manhattan, I was working in advertising up there. You know, something I thought I'd always do after college and graduating, but it was one of those things that I wasn't loving it. New York kind of wasn't my thing at the time, and when Josh gave me that call, I was like, what an opportunity. It's not just coaching, it's starting a program from the ground up. And after I saw the campus, met with, you know, the athletic administration, it was a no-brainer.
I never thought she would come down from that job, but we made the call, and lucky for me, you know, she was all in.
When playing at such a high level for so long, Crotty believes the sport becomes a part of you.
I realized how much I missed it. Obviously playing was the biggest thing, but just my teammates and the atmosphere, and this is the closest thing kind of to that. I really enjoy this, and I think the biggest part of it is actually interacting with younger girls who are going to go through this process that I had just been through. And I feel like I could give them a lot of insight because I was just there, and I feel like my words would be legitimate.
Both of these coaches understand each other's strengths and can appreciate what each can bring to this budding team.
On the field, there's a certain work ethic that's needed, and there's a platform that you need to be on in order to be a perennial Final Four caliber team. And so having Virginia here as my assistant and having been to the 5 Final Fours in the past 8 years will bring all of that over.
He was always the fun guy, you know, but he doesn't take laziness, that's for sure. You know, he expects hard work ethic, but with that comes the fun.
And fun is what they expect to have with this team. Both of these coaches understand how special it is to be a part of a new program and mold it to their liking. But they also know that they expect success to follow.
I think the biggest thing for me is setting that standard, setting that bar, that we get to do that.
Knowing that down the line, we want to be a Final Four team. We want to be one of those teams that is fighting for that spot in the dance in the last 2 games of the season. We feel like if we can get these top student athletes to come to Elon, then why not? You know, why can't we be one of those teams?
I'm so happy I took this job. I haven't looked back, and I'm really excited for the future.
Though the team does not start competition until next year, Coach Hexter is hard at work coaching up current club players and recruiting for next season, as the team will be competing in the Atlantic Sun Conference.
Elon is always improving facilities around campus, and over the last few years, we have seen the construction of the Alumni Fieldhouse and Hunt Softball Park, and the Jimmy Powell Tennis Center was the most recent venue to get a facelift.
There are 2 draws to the Jimmy Powell Tennis Center. The men and women's tennis teams. But there's an improvement to the environment. 2 newly erected scoreboards.
We have constant additions happening to our school. It just makes it more of a respected program. I mean, you go to the bigger schools and you see scoreboards.
The Smilek family, whose children's Kyle and Kaylin played tennis for Elon, donated the scoreboards. One of the scoreboards is dedicated to former coach Tom Parent, who coached the men's team for 19 years and retired in 2004. The other is dedicated to current men's and women's assistant coach Bob Owens, who, as his players will tell you, has quite a story.
Favorite Bob Owens story? He got shot in the back. He kept the bullet in his back. Played for the Philadelphia Eagles, professional football. There's got to be other things about him. He wakes up every morning at 5:30 to mow the lawn. He's pretty much the ideal husband, father, grandfather. All that just makes up Bob Owens.
Owens might joke with you at first about the one that is dedicated to him.
I've got the paintbrush and the paint already assigned, and so we'll take care of the bad part of the scoreboards right away. It's quite an honor, to be quite honest with you. I don't know that I deserve it, to be quite honest with you, but Kyle and Kaylin both were extremely good students to work with and great athletes to work with, and so it is an honor to have them recognize some of the influence that I've had on their careers, and I certainly appreciate that honor. Don't know that I deserve it, but I do appreciate it.
Owens, along with his players, knows the value the new scoreboards will add to the facilities.
The obvious first part is the aesthetic value. You know, it's a beautiful facility to begin with, and the scoreboards give that extra panache that was not necessarily needed, but will set the facilities itself off.
Personally, I've been to all the Southern Conference schools, and with the addition of the scoreboards and the newly designed courts, I feel like we have one of the best facilities in the entire Southern Conference.
While Owens is honored by the dedication, he'll be quick to tell you that is not the reason he coaches.
The best times are the times, a lot of times, away from the court. You can't help but enjoy the conference championships that we've won with the men and the success that the women are having this year. But I remember a lot of the things that are off the courts. Watching the kids grow is an amazing thing. Watching them mature from young teenagers to young adults is very rewarding, and probably why I stay in it so long.
Both tennis teams have enjoyed early success this year, as Cameron Silverman has found his way into the singles ranking, and the women's team at one point had an impressive 10-match winning streak.
And that brings us to today's history.
This day in Elon sports history, the new Alumni Memorial Gymnasium was dedicated on January 14, 1950. Approximately 2,250 spectators, one of the largest crowds ever to witness a regular season North Conference game, watched the Catawba Indians catch fire in the closing minutes to defeat the Fighting Christians 66-51. On hand for the event was the largest group of newspapers and radio men in Elon sports history, including Marty Schaap and Al Harrington of the radio station WFMY Greensboro, Earl Helen, the sports editor of the Greensboro Daily Record, Ellen Casey, sports scribe for the Durham Sun, and John Carroll of the sports writing staff of the Winston-Salem Journal. And that's today's look into Elon sports history.
We have to take another break, but don't go anywhere, because when we return, we look at another great Elon shot blocker and how her team did at the SoCon tournament.
As we go to break, check out more Elon sporting events coming up this week.
You're watching the Elon Phoenix Weekly on ESPN2.
Through their daily pursuit of excellence, Elon student athletes have gained recognition for their achievements both on and off the field.
Building a winning tradition takes hard work and dedication.
Dedication to the Maroon life.
Where success is not only measured by just wins and trophies, but also by the knowledge we gain.
At Elon, we're more than just athletes.
We're student athletes.
Providing support enables success, helps sustain the winning tradition of Elon Athletics, while securing the future of our student athletes for years to come.
An Elon education is about preparing students for a life of global citizenship. Of course, this is a place where you're going to come and earn a degree, but it's also a place that's going to get you to think very deeply about how you're going to use that degree to make the world a better place.
And now back to the Elon Phoenix Weekly on ESPN2.
Welcome back to the Elon Phoenix Weekly on your ESPN2 local sports break.
Earlier in the show, we asked, who has scored 2,000 points in Elon basketball history? The answer? Jesse Branson and Tommy Cole both reached 2,000 on the men's side, and the unparalleled Vanessa Corbett for the women.
Basketball isn't all about offense, but finding a player who can make a difference on both ends of the court truly shows greatness.
It's really exciting, especially to do it at home, you know, to score your 1,000th point at home and have everyone cheer and kind of celebrate with you, I guess. But, you know, a big part of it is I can't pass the ball to myself, so, you know, you have to take into consideration the great teammates that I've had.
Kelsey Evans is very talented offensively, and the thing is a lot of times we have to push her to be a little more aggressive offensively because sometimes I think she's selfless to a fault. But I feel like she can score at will in the paint, and we just have to continue to focus on making our emphasis getting the ball inside to Kelsey Evans because you want to play the game inside out.
I think, well, it's a cool milestone to kind of reach and to have, you know, her standing out there with the ball and kind of congratulating me and telling me that, you know, all my hard work has kind of paid off is pretty cool.
Kelsey not only reached the 1,000-point plateau this season, but she also became Elon's all-time blocks leader, passing Courtney Nybark's mark of 197 set in 2004.
We take a lot of pride in our defense and kind of our rotations on help defense, and I just try to be there for my teammates. So if someone gets beat, you know, I'm there on help side, and I'm there, you know, often and a lot of times to block a shot.
She's very smart, and when it comes to shot blocking, it's all about timing and knowing when to block shots, and she does a tremendous job of, you know, on the penetration, great weak side rotation, and sometimes Kelsey Evans, with her length, she can just be big and be there and block shots, but she has great basketball IQ and understands timing and which hands to use in order to shot block.
Rejections are great just because, I don't know, it's, you know, often they're the best when you block it and then get the ball back. And I can remember in overtime against Chattanooga, we had a lot of momentum and they came down the floor and someone got beat and I help side rotated and I blocked it and tipped it up and went and got it.
Looking back at her amazing career, Kelsey Evans doesn't just want to be remembered for her records, but also for the type of person she was both on and off the court.
I just want to be kind of remembered as someone who always worked really hard and always wanted the best for her teammates and wanted to push her teammates and wanted to make everyone better. You know, I think one of the best compliments you can get is that you make the people around you better. And I hope that my teammates feel that way, and I hope that people will just remember that I played hard and that I really love the game.
She'll be one of the most dominant forces to have ever played inside at Elon women's basketball.
Kelsey, along with teammate Allie Ford, were both named to the first team All-Southern Conference.
Led by senior leadership like Kelsey Evans, the women's basketball team completed another successful regular season campaign with a record of 17-12, claiming the third overall seed in the Southern Conference tournament. The Phoenix traveled to Asheville, North Carolina, where they hope to bring home the title and an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament.
We all have strategies, we all have game plans, but it really boils down to the team that's going to go in there and play with the most heart. You know, you're getting after loose balls, you're doing the intangible things. We just talked about just playing and fighting for 40.
The first game would be against Samford, the two-time defending SoCon champs and a team Elon has struggled with in seasons past. Elon came out and played with passion and heart, just like Coach Smith asked for, opening the game up with a 24-9 run.
Once we got the lead, I think that gave the team a lot of confidence, and you could see that from just the media timeouts and a lot of them talking about, you know, don't give up the lead, don't relent, we got to keep fighting.
Elon continued to shoot lights out in the first half, hitting 50% of their three-point shots. The Phoenix led by 9 after the first 20 minutes, outplaying Samford in all aspects of the game. But Coach Smith had words of caution for her team at the break.
We had a few defensive lapses, and then we talked about trying to defend the three-point line, because that's the thing that keeps Samford in the game, and they were able to get way too many open looks.
Samford chipped away in the second half, cutting the deficit to 6. But Elon would get a major boost from the pep band as they arrived after the men's victory, spurring the Phoenix on an 11-4 run, giving them a double-digit lead, and one they wouldn't relinquish for the rest of the game.
I think we had such a balanced act against Samford that no one particular person sticks out in my mind, and that's the thing that has helped Elon to be successful, is when we've had multiple players able to score in double figures.
With Elon defeating Samford 70-60, it was time for the Phoenix to move on to the semifinals and a rematch with Davidson, a team Elon had beaten at home by 20 a week earlier.
The game plan against Davidson was the same game plan that we had here at home. The only unfortunate part is that we didn't. What we implemented, we didn't execute it as well as we did here at home.
Elon would find out quickly that Davidson had come to play, as their two stars, Laura Murray and Sofia Alexandrovich, led the Wildcats on a 17-4 run to start the game.
Just allowed them to get too many easy looks. It was too easy to get the ball inside, too easy to move the ball around the perimeter.
Elon chipped away at the Davidson lead, making a single-digit deficit, while being fueled by career games from Jessica Farmer and Shannon Cochran.
I'm just extremely proud and impressed with the effort that both Shannon and Jessica gave against Davidson. You know, I'm just really excited for Shannon, and hopefully that was something that ignited confidence into Shannon. And Jessica, you know, she's been that solid rock for us throughout the entire season as a freshman.
Despite the Phoenix best efforts to come back, they could only cut the Davidson lead to 4 in the second half, thanks to the clutch free throw shooting down the stretch by the Wildcats, falling in the semis 61-71 and ending their run for the SoCon title.
There's still championships out there to be won, but the biggest thing that I'm hoping that we take from this season is that, you know, we had a great season, and we hope that all of the players walk away with the sense that, you know, basketball is not my identity. There's so much more to me than basketball.
Well, that's our show for today. If you missed anything or want to watch it again, be sure to check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/Elon Phoenix Weekly.
Also, be sure to visit elonphoenix.com, your #1 source for all the maroon and gold buzz.
On behalf of our producers and crew here at the show, we hope you continue to have a spectacular weekend.
For the Elon Phoenix Weekly, I'm Kimberly Wisniewski.
And I'm Joe DiRienzo. Thanks for watching.